When I started studying, my dad was an engineer, my older brother's an engineer, my other brother's an engineer, my mom was a language teacher, so when I was a kid that was a natural way for me to move forward and try to get a job, and also it was a way for me to try to get to America, because I was born in Sweden. I always wanted to come to the States, and I just couldn't afford to go, so I had to get scholarships, so that's another reason I studied. I studied acting when I was a kid in junior high, and messing around doing plays and playing music and playing the drums and such. But then, you know, I started studying engineering and trying to get the scholarships to go to the States, and that's kind of why I gave it up. And when I came to New York, I met this girl. I was about to go to school in Boston. I met this girl who was a singer, and she was in the film business as well. And I just kind of got pulled into, you know, show business. Well, I was in New York, and I was studying acting and working on the door at night at a club. And I went for some auditions, and one was this boxing movie, they said. I didn't know it was a Rocky picture. And but they turned me down because I was too tall. So I found out when I was there it was a Rocky film, and I thought, I can't miss this. This is perfect. So I took some pictures of myself in boxing gear. I sent them off to Sly through somebody who said they knew somebody who said they knew somebody who knew Sylvester Stallone. So it took about 6 months for me to get hired for that film. And, you know, then I worked out with Sly for 5 months, did the movie, and it came out. So it was like I went to the premiere, and it was just that change. When I walked in, nobody noticed me. And then I walked out, and I see all these flashes, and they'll take pictures of me. And I'm like, wow, they're taking pictures of me? And then, well, that's it. You know, I became kind of very famous in a very short period of time. Whoa, He-Man. It was cold because we shot in the winter, and I was wearing nothing, basically. So that was number one. In those days, there was no CGI, so you had to do pretty much everything yourself. So I was wearing this outfit, basically some little G-string made out of skin, and a couple of straps, and muscles, and oil, and you know, a big sword. So it was a big departure for me, because the role I did before was playing Ivan Drago, the enemy of the United States, a really bad guy from Russia. And then suddenly I'm getting hired to play this sort of hero, American hero, He-Man. And it's a big change for me and when I was a young kid, you know. The whole crew in the Expendables is incredible. Only Stallone could assemble all those guys. And everybody's different. You know, Statham's kind of like he's like the ladies' man of the group. I have a couple of scenes with him because he uses knives a lot. And I have his huge knife, and he's got throwing knives, so we kind of get along on that level. Jet Li's character is a really great martial artist, and we don't get along much in the film, so I have a little bit of beef with him. Stallone is an old friend of mine in the film, but I'm a little crazy. My guy is a bit wigged out. He's done too much everything, and Stallone has to kind of rein him in, so that's some conflict there. Steve Austin and Eric Robertson, those guys, they're sort of on the other side, but we work together a little bit, so my guy is, he's sort of the person who moves from the good family to the bad guys and back and forth. Yeah, I think, you know, action stars have that stigma that people think they're who they play, especially if you're a muscular guy and you kill people with a machine gun for 20 years, you know, then people think that's you. There's nothing wrong with that. I mean, I think when people meet you in person and meet me in person, they realize that you're a different person in real life, and that's okay. I don't mind. It's tough, man. I mean, you know, it's kind of fun in one way because you can get the best of both worlds, and that's why I like directing, because you get to use your brains and your brawn as well. Yeah, I was asked to run for office in Sweden. Can you believe that? So I turned it down. My wife didn't like it much, but I guess one day I'll get to use my head too, I hope. I'm working on a couple of projects to produce and direct, and also Universal Soldier is coming out next year with me and Mr. Van Damme. So I'm going to promote that next year as well.